Emergency. Queen's Quest arrived. Emergency. Queen's Quest arrived. Emergency. Queen's Quest
Down to the queens.
Hello, ladies, gentlemen, and everybody inside and outside of the gender spectrum, and welcome back to Stardom Quest, the best weekly Stardom podcast anywhere in the world. And I'm, as always, Alex, and I am joined by Dylan. Hi, Dylan.
Hi, Alex. Hi, everybody. It's a big week. Biggest preview week, possibly of the year. I mean, definitely so far. Um, yeah, it's a double duty. We got Marigold and Stardom to talk about, and yeah, I feel like I was gonna say something. I feel like was gonna say something all the time, but I never do.
Well,
Um,
I think you
all the
might
things
have
he
to
said, all
defend
the things he
yourself.
said, running through
There
my
was,
head.
you were accused of a cardinal sin quite recently of having a
Oh,
crush on a wrestler who's older than you. And I,
yeah,
for one,
that
think you
did
need to
happen.
address these horrendous allegations.
I prefer not to. No, it was crazy because like. I don't know. I don't like to toot our own horns, but we are one of the bigger Stardom podcasts as far as I'm aware. Um, so when somebody's like, "Oh yeah, there's that one guy who really likes Zumi and it's kind of weird," I'm like, "Okay, I think I'm gonna take that one personally." um, and yeah, that was a fun event there.
And
Which
then, and
I
then,
later found out it was just because the motherfucker hated you, and I was like, "Damn,
yes.
what the fuck did I do? Like
Because
what the
didn't
fuck?"
they then try and be like, "No, I didn't mean you." And I'm like,
Yeah,
and
they
we
got
had a
us
good laugh
confused.
about this because it was like, my Twitter is me being like, Nia Jax is so mother, and somebody is looking at that going, that right there is a heterosexual. And I, for one, find that very amusing.
Oh yeah,
I
I mean, Xavi was the one who said it. He's like, I mean, it's obviously like you can't avoid like getting shit on by saying, "Oh no, I was accusing Alex of being into this girl." Alex ain't even into girls like that, man. What the fuck?
like, I'm sorry, like you gotta like my Twitter is my Twitter. I spend days on here talking about Mina Shirakawa slaying her dance. I feel like we've gone far past the point of heterosexuality. It's over. So that was fun. That was very entertaining because the whole no, I didn't mean you, and it's like, well, who did you mean? Because like,
That's
there's
what I
not a
mean.
third.
That's what
There's
I
not a
mean.
third
Like
host.
it all kind of led to I don't know. It was a funny interaction. I don't want to give it
Yeah,
too much airtime, but it was a very funny circumstance
great day.
to be randomly attacked in the comments of Keno and Azumi's YouTube video, which by the way everybody took really weird, which was annoying.
I blame the
Um,
caption. I
oh,
really
so
do.
do I, but people definitely took it to a level. I think everybody had a trigger finger after they not like us. I'm gonna be real. Uh, Kendrick, for all of his glory, has given people a massive trigger finger about things.
That's
But
fair.
yeah, I thought it was kind of crazy, that somebody in the comments of a random video was calling me out, talking shit.
And
The fuck,
incorrectly at that.
incorrectly. Like
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, how dare you? How dare you like women older than you?
Yeah.
It's truly,
How
truly a
dare I
sin.
be a fan of a wrestler
Who
solely
everybody who
originally for
everybody
being
talks
2 months
about, by
older
the
than me?
way, who everybody thinks is
Yes.
amazing. Like, this isn't you being a one-off. Like, literally everybody is like, "Oh, Azumi's awesome." It's like, yeah, it's like, obviously. So, I don't know. Fun times. But this show is brought to you by the 5 Star Podcast Network. Head on over to 5starnetwork.co for all of the great articles and podcasts from the wonderful world of wrestling. And also go to the 5 Star Network YouTube channel for more of this. And also No Limit Wrestling Show, Actress Stage, and just whatever else happens.
Yeah, host of Actress Stage actually held our show hostage very briefly to talk about graphs before we recorded. I very much appreciated it,
Dylan loves the
Velke.
graphs.
Yeah, I love the graphs. Thank you, Velke, for coming in here and teaching the people. By the people, I mean me and Alex, um, and
You
the
can't.
other chatterbox.
He's not
Um,
necessarily teaching me. Um,
okay,
as
you know
somebody with
everything.
Well, okay,
you
I
know
don't know
everything.
everything, but I did specifically study
Yeah,
finance. Okay.
this was kind of your area.
This is very much my thing. So yeah, I always find it entertaining because he's like, "Hey, it's quarter one," and I'm like, "Yeah, man, quarter one." That's my shit right there. Um, but yeah, we have fun here. There's no reviews this week, sadly. We thought we might get a funny review from the person beefing with us, but we did not. So they did not want the smoke. Um, there's no news either. Apparently, everything was just quiet. So I guess we're just gonna go into the review
No news
part
that
of
we
the
won't get
show.
into, at least.
Yeah, news. We'll cover it anyway. So we had talked anyway about doing this. We're just gonna blast through the two shows to review because there are two very, very big shows to preview. I mean, there's an entirely new promotion starting next Monday. That should really take our focus. And also, Flashing Champion is a big show. There's a lot of talk going on because the card was just announced earlier today. There was another version of the card, maybe accidentally announced 2 days beforehand, that was very different. So lots to dive into there. So we're gonna go through the review. We did watch the two shows, but we're just kind of gonna fly through it. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So the first show to preview was on the 11th. This is Stardom Golden Week Fight Tour 2024 in Chiba. They did 294 fans here in the TKP Garden. It's one of their regular spots here. In the opener, Mina Shirakawa and Maika beat Aya Sakura and Sayaka Kurara. Mina got the win over Kurara in 9 minutes with an implant DDT. I had fun with this. I thought it was a good opener.
As did I. As did I. I thought that we talked about a lot. I think Sayaka and Sakura are a very fun tag team. I'm hoping that's what they do for the excuse me, for the New Blood tag at New Blood.
Oh, that'd be cool. Yeah,
Is
they should.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah, that's my only
after
statement. They
that's fair.
kidnapped them.
They did kidnap the two idols, which is very interesting. Nothing ever came of it though. They were
Oh,
rescued.
and then backstage, Sakura Kurara called Micah like uncivilized or something, and Micah's like, "What the fuck?"
Oh,
Because yeah, that was the thing was they were like, "We will never join EXV," and then they're like, "Well, why not?" And she's like, You're uncivilized," and it's like, "The fuck did you just call me?"
that's crazy.
It was a crazy moment.
The next match was a four-way match. Saida beat Waka Tsukiyama, Rani Yagami, and Rian. Ida beat Waka with the Idabashi in 7.5 minutes to continue her little high-speed endeavors. This was a match. Ida almost got her jacket stuck on the roof again because she has no care for her jackets. And then she raised the belt afterwards to Rian, which was like, oh, is Rian gonna find a tag partner and like challenge for the belts? But now Rian is sick, I guess, and is off all of the shows. So no Rian New Blood tag match, sadly.
I don't think that was coming anytime soon anyway.
Probably not. Um, match after that then was, I have to remember here. The white circle is the winner. Yes. So
Yeah.
Azumi, Lady C, and Miyu Amasaki of Queen's Quest beat Hazuki, Koguma, and Momo Kogo of Stars. Miyu pinned Momo Kogo with the Tensei in 10.5 minutes. This is a preview for the match the next day at Korakuen. So Kevin got the win for her team to build her up ahead of the FWC tag.
Yeah, this was fun.
Yeah.
I like these FWC preview matches usually, and the FWC tag match. I think FWC is just very good. I think that's the hot take.
I thought
The
Hazuki and
hottest take.
Hazuki and Miyu, especially here, I was like, oh, this is real.
Oh yeah, that
This
was
is
a lot of
this is
fun.
real stuff.
There was also some fun
Um,
bits at the beginning of this that you don't get in the tag title matches, so I'm happy they kind of did them out here with like Koguma and Izumi doing Janken, and there being a hostage situation, and Lady C just
yes,
watching on like, what the fuck is going on, bro? What are y'all doing? Um, I I think this is like a good, and I think that's the beauty of FWC prelude tags is that they kind of like do the first half of the match in the prelude tags, like the stuff that like is just kind of like for fun, doesn't really matter, the filler, and then they do all of the cool shit in the actual tag match. So I'm liking that so far.
it's good stuff. We then had Suzu Suzuki and Mei Sarah of Crazy Star beating Xena and Hanako of Enex's V and the team of Momo Watanabe and Rina in a three-way tag. Suzu got the win for her team with a tequila shot over Hanako. Um, I definitely did watch this, but I could not tell you a single thing about it. So that's probably not great.
Um, yeah,
Yeah,
Xena was there.
yeah, we
Xena's
like
usually
Xena.
cool.
Xena's cool.
Yeah,
Momo's in her bag. That is all.
yeah.
We then had a white belt preview tag. It was Tam Nakano, Saori Anou, Natsupoi, and Yuna Mizumori, beating Suri, Konami, Amisore, and Saki Kashima of God's Eye. Ano got the win for her team in 13 and a half minutes with the pottering when she pinned her challenger, Amisore. I thought this was a really good match.
Mm,
Saki and Unimon paired off for comedy. There was a bit of Suri Tam, which people who have watched them will know is always great. There's a
yep.
little bit of Konami and Natsupoi. And then I actually think Ano brings the goodness out of Ami that we were looking for. She really provides a little bit of spark. I think Ami has looked really good in both preview tags opposite Ano. So
Am
I did enjoy this match.
had a decent little year so far.
Hmm.
I think most of our criticisms of her really came from everything that happened last year. Um, when it pertains to her, except for maybe the Triangle Derby, she did fine in that. But like everything else, um, first 5 months of this year, she's done pretty well. I like the Cinderella. Um, was the Julia match this year? I think the Julia's match was last year. That was all right. We don't have to talk about that. She did a good Cinderella. I thought that the Natsupoi match was fun. I thought that she looked good here. I like the story they're doing with her and Ano, but it's going to be hard for them to pay off. We'll talk about it when we get to the actual preview. But hopeful. I'm cautiously optimistic that Ano can get some cool stuff out of Ami, and Ami will rise to the occasion here. Because yeah, I thought
Hmm.
that their stuff in this match was pretty fun.
All right. Saki Kashima is very firmly working a I have a sore leg angle. So
Mm,
that's probably going to carry on throughout her matches.
yeah.
And it's quite funny. So fair
I
play.
hope Konami starts ramping up soon. Uh, I know she's on house shows,
Yeah.
so it's not like she has any reason to. But I'm interested to see what her bag is moving forward.
Yeah. No, that's fair. In the main event, we had Natsuko Tora, Tekla, and Fukigen Death beating Maya Iwatani, Hanan, and Starlight Kid. Fukigen pinned Kid in 15 minutes with a backwards roll up. Um,
I'm gonna be honest. I started this match and then I was like, uh. And then I
yeah, this
remembered that it
was
ends with Fukigen over Kid, and I was like, I don't need to watch this, so I didn't.
that's fair. Yeah, it was probably the weak point of the show. Like it was fine, but definitely not. It didn't have a lot of the energy I think that the other matches had. Um, I don't know. Oedo Tai is in a weird spot now on the house shows where they're like okay, I guess, but never anything better. Kid losing to Fukin is crazy. Like, can you just announce her going to Marigold already? Like, just get it over with. This is
I know,
insane.
and it's weird because like, and I think I said this last week. When is her contract up? Because they are doing a number on Homegirl. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
it feels like they're booking her like she's leaving next month, when I presumed that she was leaving like you know end of year maybe.
yeah,
So it's strange,
it is very strange. I don't know if there's like an agreement for her to leave maybe at a different time, and maybe
possibly.
that applies for other people as well. But I don't know how she's getting beaten like a pillar here. And then afterwards is like, oh yeah, I'm not joining any of the factions who wanted me. I'm staying independent. That's like, all right, listen,
And then she was like, "Maybe I'll stop wearing my mask." I was like, "What the fuck are you talking about, dude? Like, what? Where did that come from?"
yes, everything
It
smells
feels
like a
like
field of flowers. That's all I
they're
can say.
yeah they're breaking her down. It feels like they're really like not like not even in like a burying type of way because it's like she got rolled up by Fuki and Death, and I mean she has been losing very clean to everybody in a Oedo tie, but I wouldn't even say that they're like burying her outright, but it definitely feels like they are breaking her down a bit.
Hmm.
Which is interesting.
Definitely. Um, we'll have a bit more on Kid, I guess, afterwards. The next show then was on the 12th. This was Golden Week Fight Tour 2024 in Cork, and they did 930 fans here in Cork and Hall, which for a one match show is pretty okay. I often say most companies would bite your hand off to get 1,000 people at Cork and for giving away nothing, basically. Uh, um,
Yeah.
scale obviously, but I know Deanna ran here for Golden Week and they got like 700 to 800 with a few
Which
big
is pretty
matches.
decent for Diana, to be
Yeah,
fair.
honestly, like it was good, but for like the indie
Yeah.
standards. I think Wave was here and did 470
Yeah.
maybe.
It was a
Uh,
rough crowd for Wave. I think it might have been low 4, but
yeah, and
still better than
that was
Ice though.
that's true. The Wave one was opening day of Catch the Wave too, so there was a lot of matches worth seeing on that show. And Stardom doubled it with a tag. So, you know, well, some people were like, "Oh, it's not a great number." I'm like, "Yeah, but
It's a pretty
the
good number.
scene, yeah, in the
Even
scene."
for Stardom, Stardom has done worse with like these similar cards
Oh
in
yeah, for
Corkin.
sure. And it does better than TJPW, which is my measuring stick as well. Because
Also true.
TJPW is another company that runs Corkin as kind of like a B show and has their pay per views, so they're probably the closest comparison to Stardom. And the Stardom Corkins do generally outdo TJPW
Yeah, I
numbers.
mean,
So
relatively speaking, TGPW should theoretically be doing better in Corkin because their Corkins are usually treated bigger because they only have 4 big shows a year. Stardom has, at least
12,
9.
yeah.
So
So
that's I mean, so like TGPW should theoretically be doing better than Stardom, but they're not.
mhm.
So that kind of tells you what you need to know about Stardom's numbers in Corkin.
So I would always use them as a comparison. So
Yeah.
So this show started with Momo Kogo just coming out to promo. Rian was pulled from the show like half an hour before it started, so they just didn't change anything. They let Kogo talk about the runaway wrestler. When I saw Kogo coming out to promo, I was like, "Is she retiring?" Because that's
I know. I was like, is
generally
she
how that
hurt?
works.
Is she
Yeah,
like what's
I
going
was
on
kind
here?
of worried for a second until I could see a
And it was funny
translation.
because I watched this last night, so I was like, "There's no way that nobody talked about it if
Yeah,
something crazy happened here."
yeah, it was worrying for a second, but we're okay. The actual opener was Ronnie Agami beating Sayaka Kurara with a new finisher, the Beach Strike. It's basically a buzzsaw kick, but like kind of a bit better. It's a good kick to the head. Yeah, I enjoyed this. Interesting for Rana to get her first win in a singles match, and also getting it over Kurara. These two are kind of fighting it out as the two leaders of this generation now that Yuzuki has jumped, and Rana kind of got the first blow here, which is interesting.
Yeah, I was gonna say, isn't this like their first singles? I don't think they've actually ran a singles before.
Yeah, they were on opposite sides of the rookie thing, so yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, this is their first singles. I thought this was very good,
Yes.
like shockingly good. I've said it before. I'll say it again. We need to keep Rana. We need to get Rana unaffiliated. I'm sorry. Uh, she needs to no longer do tag matches because it is like night and day. She is a tremendous singles
Apparently
wrestler, but
Taro
I,
agrees because
I
he
think she
tore up the
just
entire pay-per-view to keep her in a singles match. So
yeah.
Taro is on board.
They should have ran Rana versus Azusa since they're using Azusa.
Dude,
Um,
honestly, I don't know why they didn't. It would have
yeah,
made a lot more sense, but
but
you know.
I imagine that one of them can't. I imagine that neither of them really want to get pinned, given that. Wait, no, Rana's against Hina. Yeah, she's losing. Why the
Well,
fuck wasn't it
maybe,
just Rana versus?
possibly, but we'll
Yeah,
see.
well, perchance. But yeah, I thought Rana did a great job here,
Yes, I agree.
and Kara did as well, obviously.
Oh yeah, yeah. Speaking of Hina, she was in our next match. The Oedo Tai team, Momo Watanabe, Rina, and Fukigen Death beat the returning Hina, Lady C, and Nanami from Diana. In
Using God's Eye.
just Yes, she is. In just under 12 minutes, Rina pinned her sister with a diving double knee drop. Hina had new gear. Yes.
Yes, it
Okay.
looked really cool. I actually really liked the
It
new
did.
gear and the coat.
I thought she in general looked good. Her offense once
Yeah,
again is like, okay, this is good because that was always her calling card was she did cool moves. So she's back to doing cool moves. And I think the gear is a big upgrade. I don't actually really remember her last gear, but it definitely wasn't as good as this.
yeah,
Also the robe, amazing.
robe
Very
sick. Yeah,
Mirai coded, but it works. Like Mirai would
yeah.
definitely wear
Mariah
something
ain't
like
around
this.
no more.
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
It also
Um,
works for Queen's Quest just generally.
Yes, yeah, it's very good. Rena pinning her is interesting because they had set up Rena versus Hina, but then afterwards Rena was like, "Hey, Nanami, you want a challenge for my belt?" So maybe they're skipping over Hina, or they're gonna wait a little bit to do that. Yeah,
Yeah, it's interesting. I think. I think the Hina versus Rana match will be important. Will be interesting. Uh,
Definitely.
because those two, outside of Nanami, who just is here now, and Azusa, who is also well, Azusa already had her match against Rina.
So
Um,
Azusa and Nanami are
Rina are
like late
tagging.
replacements for people as
Yeah,
well. This was meant to be
that
Saya
too.
Kamatani, but she was pulled from the show last weekend, and obviously
Yeah,
Rian.
and I think Rina just is always booking herself against foreigners, or not foreigners, outsiders.
Yes, that's true.
Notably not foreigners, but
No.
against wrestlers from other promotions. So that could just be a thing like that. I will say it is strange that they had her pin Hina right off the bat.
Hmm.
Um, unless Hina gets that win back soon, and then they run the title match. I feel like that's a match you just really want to get to. Um, especially because Hina did look like she was in good form here.
Hmm.
It didn't look like she was like, you know, 15 steps behind everybody else. She looked pretty on par with everybody in the match except for Momo, who was Momo.
Yeah, she's awesome. Our next match then was Xena and Hanako losing. Yeah, they lost. Sorry.
Yeah,
So Tora, Natsuko Tora and Tekla beating Xena and Hanako, and the team of Konami and Saki Kashima. This is okay. Tekla got the win for her team with a spider web over Hanako to continue her little push. Um, yeah, it
I
was
didn't
all right.
watch this.
That's fair.
I didn't
That's
really want to.
fair. um, we then had a four-way trios match. Mei Sarah, Suzu Suzuki, and Starlight Kid beat Tam Nakano, Natsupoi, and Aya Sakura. And the other two trios are not listed. That's fantastic.
Mayu, Hanan, and Ida, and who lost?
Maika,
Oh,
Mina, and Waka.
Micah, Mina,
Yeah,
Waka. Yeah.
EXV. I had very high expectations for this, and then it didn't deliver. It reminded me a lot of those like indie tags that you've seen where everybody's just doing bits. They're like, we're
Funnily
just
enough, it
popping the
was
crowd.
very battle royal coded,
Yeah,
despite not
yeah.
being a battle royal. But it just like vibe wise, it wasn't very like tag mode. I mean, in part because it was no touch rules,
Hmm.
so just in and out, Um, but yeah, it was interesting. You call it indie code, and you text me about that. I was like, to be fair, like Joshi's been doing this match forever.
It has, but it feels like Joshi Indies specifically do it a lot,
Mm,
you know.
yeah, I can feel that.
So that was my takeaway from this. The Kid Suzu Mei trio is interesting because
Yeah,
Kid said she's independent. Suzu and Mei Sarah are also independent. Kid then in an interview teased starting a faction. Um, and also, well, I mean, she also teased losing her mask. So
she
I
also
don't
teased just
know
leaving.
that too. So Kid is just doing everything. But she has a group of people, and the group of people in this match who are kind of in the Kid verse at the moment that could be pulled in, and it might be interesting. Because Natsupoi as well did an interview where she was like, I'm not sure about Tam lately. She's like teamed with Kid and Mayu, and she seems really happy doing stars things. So I don't know if she's like committed to Cosmic Angels the way I am. So even Natsupoi is just like, what the hell's going on? So I think there's a lot happening, but I don't know if it's actually happening or if it's just wrestlers being wrestlers and
Yeah,
talking in interviews, especially Kid, because Kid says a lot in interviews. She never
no
stops.
kidding.
So I don't know if this is teasing something. I don't know if Kid is going to get her own group. It would feel really out of place for Kid to get her own group. Like I don't see her as a faction leader, as like that
No, and even she
level.
said that she doesn't really see herself as a faction leader.
Yeah, so it would have to be her and like Suzu Ko starting a group or
Which,
something.
do we want to do that again? Like, that's
Maybe.
just the same Mina Micah build where it's like we're kind of cool with each other, I guess.
Well,
I mean, no, actually, the story of this match for Crazy Star like Kid, um, that's their name, I believe. They said something
I
like
think
that.
they were crazy
Um,
Star Kids or something. Yeah.
whatever, Crazy Star like Kids, that's fine. Um, but the thing was that it's like May Sarah was super excited to be hanging out with Kid again now that she's not an asshole. And Suzu was like, "Yeah, I don't fucking trust her. I don't know about this weird child who, you know, disqualified herself to kill me last year. I don't know. That's kind of weird."
Yeah.
Um, so I think that's a cool little like thing they can maybe lean into. Hopefully not, but kind of like a rift between Mei Sarah and Suzu being
Mm.
started by Starlight Kid. Luckily Scott doesn't listen to these shows because he would fly to my house and kill me for even saying that. Um, but yeah, I mean that's a possibility. I think there's like room to do things here, but I don't know. Kids Kid might just like
Yeah,
I feel like
kid
Kid
status
is
is
such a
interesting.
strange.
Yeah, because
Yeah, it's hard to even talk about her.
like Fumi very much was hinting that she wanted to go to Marigold alongside Azumi and Mayu. So it's like Azumi, you consider somebody who's maybe been convinced to stay with how much she's like bought into the AEW thing. But Kid, with how they're booking her, it's like okay, I could see her going. So I don't know if you're obviously not going to give her a faction if she's going.
Yeah.
Um, so it's just kind of interesting to see. Um, so I'm gonna pay attention to everybody there, but who knows when they'll actually do stuff because Stardom sometimes lately is moves at a very slow pace. Um, what didn't move at a slow pace was our main event, the Goddess of
This
Stardom
isn't the main
Championship.
event. There's a match before that, which I
Oh
didn't
shit,
watch. I
I
totally forgot happened.
forgot. Yeah. So this was Saori Anou and Unimizumori losing to Siri and Ami Sorei of God's Eye. Ami Sorei pinned Saori Anou to get her win back in 13 and a half minutes. They did set up something interesting. So Saori won on the first day with the pottering, and then here she went for pottering, but Ami reversed it into like kind of a jackknife style pin and got the win. So they've kind of set up that Ami has
A
a
counter to
counter
battering.
to
Yeah.
one of the big moves, which is interesting. I think that's really cool. Um,
Honestly, Ami being like the cerebral wrestler who's like finding Ano's faults is really not what I expected her to be.
no,
Um, because even in the press conference, she was like, "Oh, well, you're more interesting, but you're also more susceptible to fault when you're like riled up. So
mm,
I refuse to wrestle the ice god. I'm gonna make you, get, you know, I'm gonna make you fire up and make mistakes." And I was like, "Why is this Sorei or why is this Ami Sorei's thing that she's doing? Like that's such a strange characterization." But hey, somebody wants to do it,
she's basically
go ahead.
been the disruptor this entire time. That's
Yeah.
her gimmick. As I said last week, her whole thing is like, I'm not giving you the match you want. I'm winning the belt, and I'm challenging Natsupoi again,
Very,
and
very
that's
House
crazy.
of Torture coded.
But
Um,
like better.
I don't know
Okay,
about
all
that.
right.
Uh,
Just you gotta praise Ami sometimes. All right,
no,
we
I
you know
agree. No, I like. I think that the disruptor shtick is cool. I appreciate that. That's like it's like, nah, I'm just gonna make you. I'm gonna make you a little uncomfortable. I'm gonna make you sweat a little bit.
yeah.
And she basically does that for like the audience and the wrestlers, and I think that's interesting.
All right. I thought this was a good match. It was a lot of Suri Unimon. It was uh, it was kind of interesting. They basically worked over Ano and did a hot tag to Unimon, and it was Suri Unimon, and then it ended obviously with Ano and Ami. So it didn't go as I expected it to, and I appreciate that. So good match.
Mm.
Um, and then yeah, as I was gonna get onto our main event, Goddess of Stardom Championship, Hazuki and Koguma of FWC defended against Azumi and Miyu Amasaki, also known as O2 Line. Koguma got the win for her team in 16 minutes with a diving body press over Miyu Amasaki. Um, FWC are insane. This is a great match. Right, like neck and neck with FWC Crazy Star as far as just the pace goes. Like they were going
Mm.
nuts. A lot of really good counter wrestling. There's a lot of great wrestling in general. Hazuki was on her shit. Like she almost killed some people at some
This
points.
match broke my brain, man. Because
Yes,
like
it
the Crazy Star match, I was like, man, that was one of the best matches I've seen all year. And then I watched this one, and I was like, okay, this was like for me, it was notably a little bit not as good, but that's just FWC. You know what I mean? Like I
mm,
was just that wasn't like that wasn't them even trying that hard against Crazy Star. That's what this match made me realize. Was that it's like that was just like them doing a bit better than like their standard.
yeah.
Which is absurd. Because like this was their standard, and this was better than most matches I've seen in the past couple months.
Honestly, yeah, Joshi is having a year of the tag match. I kind of posted about this, which is kind of lame in some regards, but I think it's true. When you consider that this year alone we have had Saori and Mio versus Beauty Bear, which was
Mm,
insane. Saori and Chihiro versus Natsupoi and Saori Anou, insane. We had Arisa Nakajima, Tsukasa Fujimoto, and Saori versus Hiroyo, Miyuki Takase, and Hanako Nakamori. We had
tremendous.
FWC versus Crazy Star. We had FWC versus O2 Line. We've also had TJ Pirubu with what's the name of Endo and Suzume?
Daisy Monkey.
Daisy Monkey, and they've been kicking ass. So
Yes.
year
We
of the
also had
tag match.
we also have had fucking Wingori just
Oh
being
yeah,
great
yeah,
in
that
the
too.
on
The
the undercard
Chanyota tag.
tags.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
the
there was another
Chanyota tag,
Chanyota
for
tag as
example.
well from PPP
The
that
Nanai
people were
one.
into.
Yeah, that was
Um,
fun.
the best friends are
Great
back,
tag matches all
so
year.
it's only gonna get better. So yeah, Joshi, year of the tag. Um, I thought Miyu Misaki had a real coming out party here, and over the weekend, her and Koguma in the finishing stretch, I thought was really good. Like Miyu just looks like she belongs in there with these top tier wrestlers. Her like advancement in the past year has been insane.
Yeah, I mean Miyu's I saw Miyu really like do that like have that big moment in that triple threat tag that we always talk about from last year.
Mhm.
And this was kind of similar because it just felt like she kept up with, three of the best wrestlers in the company. Especially, Koguma, people will discredit her, but she's undeniably among probably like top 4 or 5 tag wrestlers in the company because she's just so good at just tag matches, like, and, you need those people. So, for me to keep up with everybody in this match and do well, like, do notably well, I'll say it, I think that, um, Miyu had a better general performance because it was meant to be that way than Azumi did,
Oh,
because it was Miyu's time to put up or shut up.
mhm.
Azumi kind of let her do that, right?
Yeah.
And she did, and I think that's like a big credit to her because she could have let the match fall apart very easily. Somebody in her position where it's like, as good as she's become, I wouldn't say she's the most like reliable wrestler on the roster because you never really know. She's still kind of in that stage where she could kind of just like, a match could fall apart. Uh, I'm becoming increasingly more confident in her abilities every single match I see her in, and this match was, a big step in that, in her becoming one of the more reliable wrestlers on the roster.
You are very into the Kevin. Um,
Oh,
yeah,
I
I
think
would
she's
agree.
tremendous.
I thought she had a great showing. Um, I even praised Azumi. I was like, "Hey, Azumi's like a beast in this."
Oh yeah, don't get me
And then
wrong,
she ended
Azumi
up
fucking
falling away, which
yeah.
is crazy. But that was that show. Pretty good weekend overall. I thought the Corkin was it had its lapses at some points that made me go, "Okay, the show the day before was a bit better." But that main event really just was killer.
Like
So
I've been saying, FWC might just be like the best tag team in Star Mystery.
yeah,
Um,
honestly,
because like their main competition is like Thunder Rock, and I was talking about it to somebody that's like Thunder Rock is a bit better in theory than they were in practice. Um, because I think EO in that period was a better singles wrestler, and like that's just the case of it. They're still tremendous together, but when that's the only real like comp for FWC at this rate, uh, there's a few others obviously, but
yeah. I mean,
it's just insane.
I'm leaning Tayo Yoshiko, because they
Okay,
were
yeah, no, that's
nuts.
true.
Tayo is
That's true.
obviously having
Yeah, I
Tayo
mean,
is
like
like a cheat code.
it's like that's the issue with Stardom in general is that it's like, oh, I think Azumi's probably like, one of the best high speed champions of all time. It's like, yeah, but Tayo. It's like, yeah, but
Mhm.
like that's not fair. Like let's
Yeah, that's a cheat code. But yeah, that was a nice weekend. Um, we then have a pay per view happening on the 18th. This is
you
Stardom
know,
Flashing Champions.
go ahead.
All right, Stardom Flashing Champions and the Yokohama Budokan. They pump faked us with a card for this like 2 days ago. They took the card down and through Tara Okada, not through their official channels, through Tara Okada's Twitter, they're like, "Oh yeah, we're not sure who's gonna be healthy, so we're gonna keep the card under wraps." And then the only person missing is Rian. But
Yeah,
Rian being taken out changed 4 matches. They
yeah,
changed 4 matches because of Rian. And it's weird because they called in Azusa Inaba to be in a tag instead of just calling in Azusa Inaba to replace Rian and keeping the card as it was.
Yeah.
So I was like, I've been confused ever since.
What I was gonna say is, did you know that next month, and I learned this on Ring Post Radio, um, Solo, by the way, not even Scotty. Scotty ain't even around for this, revelation. Next month, the pay per view is called Stardom: The Conversion,
Yeah, I did see
which
that.
sounds homophobic in
Sinister
some
energy.
way.
The
Yeah, like
sinister
I'm
energy.
concerned. I'm concerned
They're
for my
gonna,
girlies here. I'm gonna be real.
yeah.
What are they gonna do to 'em?
Oh my god, yeah. Mina's gonna get like jobbed out to get through to the
Yeah,
gays,
I
you
was
know?
gonna say it's a good thing Utami ain't around no more because that doesn't sound good for
Yeah.
her.
Oh my god, that's crazy. Because even in our Discord, I was like, "There's some sinister energy to that." And people are like, "Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I feel it." It's
No, that's
crazy.
what I mean. Is that Ryan did a solo episode for Ring Post Radio, and he was just like, "Oh, I wonder what the next like star on pay per view." The conversion. That doesn't
Yeah,
sound right.
yeah, crazy, crazy. Um, I've just learned, and I'm very sad here. Rani Yagami versus Hina is a pre-show match. It's not an
Man,
actual card, so
that
it
sounds like
doesn't
it could be
technically
like,
exist.
yeah.
Very
I mean,
upsetting.
it does. You could very easily watch it.
No, no, I'm on my stand. No pre-show matches. They don't count. The actual card then kicks off with a special tag match: Suzu Suzuki and Mei Sarah taking on Natsupoi and Starlight Kid. Just getting straight into the work rate stuff. I
Man,
think I think they needed this match, quite frankly. I'm not
yeah.
usually in favor of like random tag matches just to be good, but this card kind of needed something to say, "Hey, we're gonna deliver."
Well, Koguma, which this is a great thing to do for a pay per view. She said, "I don't really give a fuck about the pay per view because Yokohama don't know shit about speed, man." So
Sure.
she decided not to defend her title. So this was needed. Somebody noticed that like every week since like before Buntai, the week before Buntai, has had a very good Goddess of Stardom Championship defense, or just like a straight up 2v2, like a big match. I think it is a title defense. Um, and they've all been very good. So you kind of need to continue that for, your pay per view, one of your bigger pay per views of the year.
Yeah.
Um, Effectively your backlash, if you will. Um, where it's like, it's not huge, but it is always like a thing that is, notable. So you need a match like this, and
Yeah.
I'm sure this will be very good. Mutual Love
Hmm.
is cool. I like them a lot. Starlight Kid's still marked as a Wado tie for some reason. Um,
Oh yeah, sure she is. Yeah, it's really funny.
love, love, love what Storm's doing with the place.
Who does the
Um,
website now?
no clue.
Is it because is it the English Twitter guy or is it
No,
somebody
I
else?
think it's a Japanese guy because I've noticed that
Oh,
like even the things that used to be in English, are no longer in English.
okay, all right, that's
So
interesting.
yeah, some of the things that I obviously suspect that Sonny was doing have just been kind of given over to the Japanese team. I don't know what the fuck that English guy's doing. He's kind of you know sitting in catering. Um,
That's crazy.
but
Uh,
but yeah, I
you're
mean
gonna
like
regret that
this match is super
soon.
exciting. Am I?
Mm, I don't know. He has done commentary before. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, this is the silence. um, I enjoy this. I'm going to enjoy this match. I am interested to see if maybe there's a promo afterwards
Not
to.
gonna lie, that's like a top 2 to 3 match on the card.
Oh
I
yeah,
mean,
easily.
depending on if they depending on the style they run it. If they run it as a opening match of a pay per view that doesn't really matter that much, then it won't be. But if they
Mhm.
run it like they care, uh, it'll be very good.
Very true. I'm definitely interested if they do any promo stuff afterwards to like
Mm.
address Starlight Kid and all of her recent talk and
Yeah,
Natsupoi's kind of recent
does
stuff.
this foursome become a faction?
It would be
That's the question.
interesting. I think it would leave Cosmic Angels in a weird spot, so probably not. But I would be here for it. It would be
I don't
fun.
know. Cosmic Angels already has. I mean, they have like a big three and Yuno
Uh,
who can move
yeah,
up at any
I
time.
feel like Yuna's a bit iffy as far as what they think of her. So I don't know
That's
if they'd
true.
make her number three, but maybe they would. Maybe it would be fine. I think Suzu and Poi and Sarah as like the backbone of a faction would be awesome. You know, the matches would be insane, but maybe you'd have too many of the good wrestlers in one faction. You gotta spread the love a little bit. But who knows? Maybe. Our next match then is Mike versus Hanako in a kind of a test yourself match for Hanako, I guess. I mean, Micah's going to win. I think the what's interesting is going to be how Hanako does and how much Micah gives her.
Yeah, so Hanako was basically like, "Damn, I suck,"
Yeah.
and she was like, "I need, you know what?" Like, and it's funny because I was saying the entire time I was like, "Just put Hanako with Micah, have them be like, the pairing for
Mhm.
this faction, so that Hanako can really, learn to fit into that Hameka Megan Bane role more than whatever she is now."
Mhm.
And they haven't done that. And so now Hanako's like, "Yeah, I think I need to be paired with Micah." Like, sorry, Waka, sorry, Xena, but I don't think this is working. So, I was right, and I look forward to seeing what this match kind of is, because yeah, I mean, I haven't seen a Hanako singles match in a minute.
Yeah.
We'll see
Yeah.
what she's kind of cooking in 2024 as a singles, and hopefully Mike can get something out of her, and hopefully Hanako shows some passion. I know she's in the other company, but we need it. We need it in this
Yes.
company as well.
Speaking of Micah, actually, there was some news that we forgot. She showed up in GTO the other
Oh
day
yeah,
and challenged Tomoki Inaba to a singles match at their fifth anniversary show.
nice.
Um, so that's happening at Cork and Hall. They did kind
And
of allude to it being a red belt match,
that's what I was gonna say.
but obviously Micah, they don't know if Micah's going to be champion going into that kayfabe wise. But I would imagine it ends up being a red belt match, and that's pretty cool. Tomoka and Micah, if we ever see it, that is, because JTO, I
We
don't think,
should.
I don't know
To
how.
be fair, just that match alone is probably worth the $10 that it costs to buy.
Do they sell them anymore? Because I thought they'd
Oh
stopped.
fuck, do they not? I mean, like
I thought they
I've
just
been
put them on
I've been
YouTube.
able to see some JTO
Well,
matches.
because see, they put the smaller shows on their channel for free. I
Hmm.
think the delay, but the Corkins, I don't know if they do anymore. They used to put them on sale on their merch store, but I don't know if they do that anymore.
I could have
So
swore I
somebody
watched a
would have
JTO
to
match in
check.
Korakuen.
Maybe it was the older ones though.
Let me. I'm gonna do a little research, because yeah, I mean that was the match that I was looking forward to the most. I was like, you need to get that Tomoki. I mean, remember that Rumble, that Kamatani ended up winning. I was like, put Tomoka in it and have Tomoka
Oh
win
yeah,
it.
yeah,
So I'm very happy this match is happening. Um, from that match alone, it feels like it's probably going to draw a decent number in Korakuen, better than the usual JTO Korakuens
yes,
at the very least.
yeah.
Um, what was it? Was it? No, that's the semifinal. I apologize. Their their cage match is kind of dumb.
Yes. I mean, they're a weird company to follow, so I don't blame Cage Match.
Yeah. Okay. So I did watch a Korakuen, a JTO Korakuen, the March one. Yeah, that came out somewhere.
Okay, somewhere.
So they are coming out. Yes. Because
Right.
yeah, you not watch Inaba versus Inaba, the singles?
No, I don't
It
think
was
so.
all right. It was
Because it
it
was
was
JTO rules,
it was
which
pretty good.
I'm not a big fan of JTO rules. So you know this
I
by now.
think I think that's I mean, as Avi says, J2 rules, long as hell and stupid as shit. Um, that's the tagline. No, I thought it was a very good match. I think Azus is a lot better at JTO rules than Tomoka is, which is why it's very funny that Azus is like probably gonna win the non JTO rules title, and
Yeah.
Tomoka is gonna keep with the JTO rules. But since the match will not be under JTO rules and it'll be in Korakuen, and I imagine they're gonna stack up that fifth anniversary card, it could be a fun time.
Okay, so they are still putting the Corkins on their merch shop. 'Cause,
Mm.
I just saw it there. The JTO Corkin tournament, March 1, and JTO Girls Special. Oh, and Shinjuku Face, January 6th. Aoi versus Inaba.
Ooh. Okay, so yeah,
Yeah.
last year's fourth anniversary show did 750 in Korakuen, which is a decent number.
Yeah.
Um, and it had you versus Tomoki Inaba, which I don't think anybody ended up seeing. So
No.
we'll see. Maybe.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to wait and see. If they are putting them on the website, then there's at least some hope.
Yeah.
And there'll be other cool stuff there as well. I mean, they have a solid enough
Plus,
women's
if it's for the
division.
red belt, they might just put it on Stardom World on delay.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, that's fair.
They usually
Well,
do that
we'll
sort of
have
thing.
to hope
Maybe.
and see.
Yeah.
Um, the next match anyway on the show is Mina
Speaking of anyway.
Shirakawa, Xena, and Wakasuyama of Enex's V versus Rina, Fukigen Death, and Azusa Inaba. I know Rina teased teaming with Azusa after their match recently. She was like, "Hey, you're kind of cool. Let's team up." So I
Yeah.
guess this is it.
Let's
Enex's
beat
V,
up all the old ladies together. So they
yes,
paired them against two 30-year-olds, and I don't know Xena's age. So that's
yeah.
fine.
I don't think anybody does. But yeah, this is probably an EXV win. They're not going to protect
Uh,
Fukigen that hard, I'd imagine.
Waka can lose very easily. I think you undersell that. But yeah, I mean, I could definitely. It depends. I mean, I think.
I feel like Mina is like more important to them usually. Because didn't she beat Carrara and Aya? She got the win for her team, so
Yes.
they're still kind of positioning
Um.
her pretty well. So
Yeah, but you also might get Arena Azusa tag, New Blood tag challenge if they want to run that.
I don't
Um.
know how many matches that Rena can have on the one show because she's already set up a
This is
few.
true.
So
This is true.
probably not.
But the New Blood tags aren't exclusive to. I mean, neither
That's
is
true, I
Fusion Road,
guess.
but
Maybe,
maybe it's
maybe.
not the conversion, which is a day later.
All right, sure. Um, we then
But
had
yeah, Mina can win. It's
okay.
pretty easy.
We
What
have
the fuck?
a gaunt- a gauntlet match to determine the next challengers for the Artists of Stardom title. This is no touch over the top rope. We have Hazuki, Koguma, and Momo Kogo, Siri, Konami, and Saki Kashima, Azumi, Lady C, and Miyu Amasaki, Yuna Mizumori, Aya Sakura, and Sayaka Kurara, and Natsuko Tora, Momo Watanabe, and Tekla. So this is one of the matches changed a lot by the card change. Because initially this was only 4 teams, and then there's a tag title number 1 contenders match as well that had um, Suri, Konami, Tekla, Tora, and Xena Mina. So it was an interesting match that they decided to get rid of and just give us this. I would
15
imagine,
wrestlers in one match.
yes, but it's a gauntlet, so they're gonna
Yeah.
obviously have never-ending 3-on-3 matches.
Oh.
Yes. Oedo Tai probably wins. I feel like they're the Tekla push peaks at an artist challenge. Um,
Um.
or
No, the
maybe
Tekla put. I think Tekla probably gets more than that. I think that's why they don't win.
I
But I
don't
don't
know.
know who falls there. That's the problem. Uh. Oh, they
It was
could
over
get
the top
DQ'd.
rope.
It's
It's
a
over the
it's
top
a
rope.
that too. But they can get DQ'd. It's pay
Yeah,
per view. Tora Natsuko does not work wrestling matches on pay per view.
that's very fair. I mean, it's either them or FWC with Kogo, and maybe they lose and Kogo finally snaps because she's been in a weird spot for a while. So
That's true.
one of those two,
I don't know.
I'd
I could
imagine.
I could see I could see Stars, God's Eye, or Oedo Tai winning.
Well, God's Eye definitely won't because they weren't meant to be in the match. So
Oh
something
yeah,
tells me Suri
but
Konami are meant for the tag
but
belts
neither
instead.
was Oedo Tai.
Shit, yeah, that's true. Hmm.
None of,
You
was
make a
anybody
good
in this
point.
match supposed to be in this fucking match? Let's be
I
real.
don't know. I would have to check the Peps tweet because they
I think
changed a
the
lot.
only unchanged team in this is
FWC.
Queen's Quest.
Oh, yeah, maybe. Um,
Man, I'm
I don't
gonna have
know.
to check the fucking Pep's tweet. Hold on.
Oh no, you'll be scrolling for hours.
I know. That's why I'm saying, oh god.
You watched AEW, I think, yesterday, so you're gonna have a lot of AEW tweets to go through. But I don't know. This is a weird match. Um, we stick on it so you can check. It probably won't be good audio, but
You know.
you know,
How you feeling today?
I'm warm. I had my
Warm.
shoulder was hurting, and I was going to complain about it on the show because being old is horrendous. But now it's not hurting, so I can't complain about it.
Okay, so this motherfucker. He
But
put number one contender artist title match: Stars versus QQ versus OT versus CA.
Nasty, nasty business. I think I know the teams based on the other matches, but I don't know for sure. Because
Because
it would have, because Rena, I think Rena and Fukigen were meant to be with Momo because they weren't in another match that was originally like a three-way match. So I would
yeah,
imagine it was
so the
Momo,
three-way match was Shuri Konami and Tora Tekla versus and Mina Xena. So those were the only two that.
and there
Well,
was
no,
another
more teams.
three-way match, the
It's
Sake one,
it's dumb. It's dumb.
the,
Everything's
the
dumb.
Sake
It's so
three-way
dumb.
match. But yes, yes. Anyway, who the hell cares? That's my stance. Who the hell cares?
Oh
It
yeah,
will,
Kashima Waka. Yeah,
yeah, it will probably lead to a good match on the line, maybe.
EXV versus one of these teams would be good.
It depends, but yeah, I'm into it.
Two of these teams.
Um,
I'll stay two.
anyway, on to better things. The High Speed Championship. We have Saya
Fuck yeah.
Kamitani defending against Saya Ida. So, a lot more of what we want to see from the High Speed belt. Open up the division, let people show off what they can do. This is probably
One
really good as well.
one
They've
no
go back
stat.
a while. What?
This is the first singles championship match for Saya Ida since her match against Hinori Hana in 2021.
Oh my God! Wow.
And I don't have this off the top of my head, so I'm gonna do a little bit of looking, a little bit of a look see.
Okay,
This is the first. Oh fuck, it's not a title match. Hold on.
I messed it. Yeah, messed it up.
Yeah, that's my bad.
Is this the
I believe this is
longest? Sorry,
what.
go ahead.
I believe this is like one of the first singles matches between Saya. Because
That
most of
would
their
check out. Yeah.
yeah, so it's the first one since 2022,
Mm.
which was in the 5 star.
Oh, nice. Okay. Well, it's fun. Um, yeah, I'm sure this would be a good match. I'm interested in Saya Kamatani as a high speed champion. She like works. I feel like she's a high flyer more than a high speed wrestler, but she can really easily adjust to make it work. And Ida is mobile. That's her whole thing. So I think this would be fun.
Yeah, I think they're kind of like refurbishing, not the actual belt because it looks atrocious. But
Yeah.
they're refurbishing the division in a way, so that's like just the mid card belt. With like kind of a more they're making it the X division more than like you know
Well, this is what
that
it
high
was
speed. Yeah.
before the Bushiroad takeover, because I
Well, this
remember
is what it was
the
before
Chris
Hazuki.
Wolf. I remember the Chris
Yeah.
Wolf Mayu Kagetsu days. Like that was very much. It was just kind of there for people to fuck around with whenever they wanted to.
Mhm. And
And
it
then it
was
kind
more
of
focused on the roll up aspect of it all. Like that
yeah.
was like the calling card of it more than like the actual flow of the match.
Mm. So I think that's an interesting move. Definitely one that opens the door for a lot more people to do stuff, which
Yeah.
is never a bad thing. So yeah, that's
And hey,
interesting.
I've been asking for a high speed Ida for a couple years now, so I'm
Yeah.
definitely interested in this match. And hey, I love these two as a pairing together always. I think
Mhm.
they always work really well together. So I am really excited for this match.
Our next match then is a special tag match. Maya Iwatani and Hanan, also known as Eye Contact, take on Tsukasa Fujimoto representing Ice Ribbon and Arisa Nakajima representing Cedring. They are also known as the Best Friends, the better Best Friends, and the only one active now because Chuck Taylor
Well,
is retired, I
damn,
guess.
damn. The as the year began, there will have been two tag teams called Best Friends, and as it ends,
There'll
when
be
it
none.
ends,
Wow,
there will be none
crazy,
because one of each of them will have retired.
nasty.
That's a
Also,
fucking
Tsukasa is
bummer.
going back into hiatus,
The
so
better of the two of them, in fact. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Well, all right. This
Well,
would
no,
be
I love Tsukasa, but come on, it's Nakajima. Let's be real.
yeah, it's fine. This would be a great match. I mean, dude, Mayu's Casa exchanges, Mayu Arisa exchanges. The best friends beating the shit out of Hanan.
Yeah,
um,
it sounds like it's gonna pair off, so it's Tsukasa Hanan.
yeah,
Just by their Sukasa's comments at the presser. So I'm really excited for that. I'm really excited for this entire match. It'll be very good. Stars. If if you don't know what the fuck is going on in Stardom, if you don't know what type of train wreck is currently happening, slow train wreck. It's not like actually like wrecked. It's just like it's kind of like tilting off the rails a little bit. I like trains. It's kind of tilting off the rail a little bit. Um, you could always look to the stars to have some normalcy, because whatever they're doing, it's always fucking great. So this will be great. Hot take.
I do wonder if I mean Tsukasa or Arisa is going to pin Hana, and I feel like that's very obvious.
Hmm. It's probably Sukasa over Hanan.
I wonder if they do Tsukasa and Mayu then. That
They
feels like
can.
the natural endpoint, right?
I would like that to be the natural endpoint,
Because the
but this also
promos
might
to
just be a
build to this
one-off.
were very interesting. Because Tsukasa was like, "Who the fuck is Hanan?" And Mayu goes, "I'm a movie star. Who the hell are you? Do you want tickets to my movie? Here,
Well,
have
no,
tickets
not
to my
not
movie."
even. It was very interesting because Sukasa was like, you probably think I'm gonna say who the fuck is Hanan, but I've actually been looking at watching her matches the past couple weeks. She's good, but I'm still gonna beat the fuck out of her.
Yeah,
and then
I-
and then Mayu's like, I am going to ruin your retirement.
that's
The
incredible.
lasting
Yeah,
the lasting image of Arisa Nakajima will be her and her best friend getting beat by the icon the day after her movie comes out.
Mayu is so casually like
The
nasty
most
because
hard
she
motherfucker.
was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna ruin your memories together," and you're like, "Dude, like that's so mean."
Like she's actually retiring.
Yeah, that's crazy. I think we have a blueprint for this match as well. I don't know if many people saw it. Best friends wrestled Makoto and Yuki Mashiro, and I expect this to go very
Hmm.
similar because Yuki Mashiro was just getting worked, like they were beating on her, and then Makoto would come in and kind of even the odds, and then it came down to like Yuki trying to fight up against Arisa Nakajima and losing, and so I'd imagine that's the blueprint here with Hanan. Maya's going to even the odds, and Hanan's going to try and fight her best against Tsukasa down the stretch. Tsukasa's going to beat her. So I'd imagine we have the blueprint for this already, and it was a great blueprint. Even though I thought Yuki Mishiro was a bit off in that match, it was still great. So obviously with Mayu and Hanan, it's going to be even better.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, man, this could you said it's the year of the tag team for Joshi wrestling. There are two potentially like great this one has a higher ceiling obviously, but two potentially great tag team matches on this card. And a whatever the fuck that gauntlet is.
Yeah. Um, yeah, that's that. It's still insane to see the best friends on a Stardom render. Like
Hmm.
I'm just blown away. Obviously, and opposite Mayu Iwatani as well. It's crazy
It's
shit.
interesting because I wonder if Arisa and Rossi had a falling out at some point.
Mm,
Because like I
Imagine
was reading through his
Nanai was the
blogs.
the focus of
Yeah,
the heat.
yeah, true. But I was reading through the blogs that he released years ago. I read through them a couple months ago. Um, and he was just like praising the fuck out of Risa Nakajima. Like he was
Mm.
like anytime he'd go to JWP, he'd be like, this chick knows wrestling. Like she can lead wrestling in like a whole nother direction. She's tremendous. Um, so it's interesting that never came to fruition. But I guess
She did
12 years
wrestle
is
for
a long
Stardom,
time.
so
Oh yeah, man,
she wrestled
I'd be
Io.
forgetting.
Yeah.
I'd be
Right,
forgetting.
right.
Fuck yeah, that match was great. I
Yeah.
know that match.
So I was like, dude, did you just like forget?
No, I
but
forgot.
that's fair. I imagine there was some sort of tension eventually. Obviously Sukasa, and like Rossi,
Yeah,
probably. And yeah, Arisa probably didn't like Nanai after seedling the split. Um, but yeah, that's
yeah.
that
Well,
match.
actually, that's the big thing is that it's like Arisa. Well, Nanai was not allowed in Stardom for the Yoshiko reasons. And so I imagine Arisa was kind of like with Nanai there, and then once Nanai was allowed in Stardom, Nanai left, and so there was heat there probably. Um, if not heat, just
Yeah. Well,
not.
there was the seed Stardom feud, to be fair, as well. That wasn't that
Yes,
long ago,
yes.
and
No,
Arisa
but
was
that's what I
involved.
mean is that at the end of
So
that, Nanai left. So it was only like, the feud only lasted for like
well, you see, I
9
kind of
months
agree,
before
but
Nanai dipped.
Nanai didn't join Stardom after that,
This
so
is true.
she remained freelance, to be fair, and she had been a bit of a net negative, I guess, for Seed because she was injured for so long. So they probably did just
Yeah.
go like, "Look, we're moving on." So I don't know, but
Yeah, kinda like a Wave Nagisa sort of situation.
yeah, yeah, basically. Um, but that is that match. The next match, just in case the best friends being on the show wasn't weird enough, we have an AEW TBS Championship match. Willow Nightingale defends against Tam Nakano. This is a lot more what we wanted to see from this partnership. I don't want Mina versus Anna Jay. No offense. I want Willow
You don't want to see that
Nightingale.
for the fourth time?
No, I don't want
How about
Rose
Harley
Gold
Cameron?
versus Harley Cameron. I was just about to say that. I don't
I don't
want
even hate Harley
Soraya.
Cameron, but come on, man. What are we
Yeah,
doing?
like I don't need Rose Gold versus Soraya. I want Willow. I want Chris Statlander. I want Red Velvet wrestling against some of the best wrestlers in the world. And
Man,
so,
bring Queen Aminata and Red Velvet over for the conversion. Have them face FWC. We'll get it all cooked up, man. Stir it up. You know what I mean?
let's
Let's
get it.
let's let's move.
Get it. I'm
Suzuki
into it.
might kill one of you, but sacrifices will need to be made.
Yeah. Honestly, I mean, I think Hazuki and Aminata in a battle of who has the more killer big boot, because they
Yeah.
they lay that shit in.
Oh, every time I watch Aminata, I get reminded. I'm just like, what the fuck is she doing?
Yeah.
Oh man,
Um,
shouts out.
yeah, this is an interesting match. I mean, Willow is like on one. She kind of just can't have a bad match. I saw her in Sky
Don't
Blue
say
have a
that. This
decent
is Tam
hardcore
Nakano.
one. I feel like Tam. I don't think Tam is as bad as people make
No,
out.
she's not. And
Um,
like I especially again this year has been the year of wrestlers like kind of being better than they were last year. Tam's one of the cases. I think Tam's, had a pretty chill year, but I think she's had a good one.
mhm.
Um I think this will be good, but don't say that she can't have a bad match because this could be bad. This
Okay,
could
Willow though.
bad.
Willow is pretty incapable of having a bad match lately. Um,
Tam doesn't know English.
that's okay.
Willow struggles against wrestlers who, like it's there's a notable,
No,
it
she
could.
didn't. She's been really good in Japan every time.
She's only been in. Well, yeah, no, it's true. I forgot she
So
had the TPW run.
yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I think this will be a pretty good match. I think
Yeah,
there's a lot of ways you can go with it as well. The TBS title is like a 20-minute time limit or something. So I suspect they might use this to indirectly
does it have
set
a
up.
20-minute time limit?
I don't know. I think it does have
Does it have a
some
time
time.
limit? I don't know if the TPS title's
Yes,
ever been to a
it
draw.
does. I'm pretty sure it does. It's either 15 or 20. At least I thought so. Um, yeah, you'd have to check. But
I'm checking real quick.
okay, you
Well,
check there, and I'll come.
to be fair, the problem is that the TBS title was on Jade for so long, and she never had a match longer than 4 minutes. So uh, I don't think there's a precedent.
Okay. Yeah, so I was correct. 20-minute time limit for the TBS title. So I have seen people theorize that this could be indirectly setting up Tam versus Mercedes Monet. Like a draw here. Mercedes beats Willow, obviously, at Double or Nothing. And then I think next month is Forbidden Door. So you would then do
Oh yeah,
Tam,
late next month. Yeah.
Mercedes. And that kind of makes sense because I feel like you need Stardom girls involved in Forbidden Door and the CMLL dudes. Otherwise, it's not much of a Forbidden Door this year because everybody is in AEW. So I could see that. I could see this going to a draw so that Willow doesn't lose, so that Tam doesn't lose, and so that you can do Mercedes Tam then next month. In saying that, Tara Okada doesn't seem to give a shit about wins and losses, so Tam might just lose, and that's it.
Yeah, both of those things are very possible.
So
But to be fair, this card doesn't have that many like long matches in it, except for the gauntlet. Uh,
yeah.
and I mean the main event will probably go 20, just straight up. Like I doubt that goes. I hope that doesn't go, nearing 30. Uh, so yeah, I mean they can just run to 20 here. Doesn't
Mhm.
really wouldn't be an issue.
I could see it. I have seen people say that Monet might like show up and attack them both, but I don't see that. I'm not sure about that.
Nah.
Um, I don't know if you give away her getting physical for the first time on a Stardom show, especially. So I don't think I'd be. I don't think they would let that happen. But yeah, fun match. Hopefully this opens the door to more good AW Stardom stuff. Give us some, as we say, Chris Statlander. Send her on over. We wouldn't be too upset by that. Send on over Athena. She's been begging to go to Japan. Please let that woman go to Japan for the love of God. So that's that. Our main event then of the show is the Wonder of Stardom Championship match. Saori Anou defends against Ami Sorei. Big vote of confidence here for Saori and Ami Sorei to go on last over Best Friends and Mayu, over Willow and Tam. It's pretty crazy. Um, I don't know. I wonder if they knew they were headlining with the white belt here, because I don't know. 'Cause obviously, like you have to take risks with people like Ami Sorei now that you can't just go, "Hey Julia, do you want to be V3 for white belt?" Um, but I don't know. I think it's risky to do it in the main event of a show. Like I wonder if they knew that when they made the decision, because this feels like a lot, like a big pressure for somebody in one of their first big matches.
Alex, if I had a nickel for every time Stardom, for some reason, put Ami Sourei in the main event of a pay-per-view, I'd have at least 5 nickels, which is
Oh,
insane. Because
most of those were tags, right? I know the new
uh,
era is main
2 of them
evented.
were tags.
Yeah.
Or no, okay, 3 of them were tags. One of them is this upcoming. She's in the Cinderella final, and she had
Okay.
the Saya match, and then I think I'm missing one. All I'm saying is there's for some reason she has like more main event pay-per-view matches than like a lot of the roster.
The Cinderella final go
um,
on last, really?
oh no, it didn't.
No, it never
Wait,
goes on last.
what the fuck went on last that show? Something went on last. Probably
Title
a
match.
championship match. Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn, that feels so long ago.
Did she main event like round one as well of our Cinderella pay per view? Because I think she debuted in the main event, maybe.
She didn't debut in the main event. Or
She not? Oh,
was that would have been against Shuri. All I'm saying is it's kind of absurd.
yes, yes.
How frequently she is at
That
the
said,
top of
that
the
said,
card.
I think the stakes are a bit different here. Singles main event for the white
She
belt.
was in the main event of the 2022 opening round Cindy match.
Yeah, that's what I thought. That's what I was thinking. But anyway, yes, this is a big spot for Ami Sourei. So it'll be interesting to see what they can do here. I'd imagine this goes about 18. I think these white belt matches, that main event, usually go about 18, and they usually kick ass. So big lineage to fill here. But Saori Anou seems to be on her shit lately. Seems to be bringing out the best in Ami Sourei. So I could see this being a good main event.
Yeah, I mean, I certainly hope so.
Yeah.
Like I said, Ami's been in the spot way more frequently than you'd expect. But
Mm.
I am interested in the dynamic. I think her kind of being that disruptor who uh, kind of knows how to be Ano. It just is a matter of her putting it into action and not getting beat herself. I think that's an interesting way to kind of, position herself.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I'm hopeful, cautiously optimistic, because she
All
has
right.
had a good year this year.
Fair
But
enough.
also, she is very similar to Mariah, and we saw how that went,
Yes.
last
Very
year.
true.
So
Very
that
true.
that is kind of where the fear comes in.
Yeah, they have to have other matches on the card to deliver at least.
Hmm.
So that's that show, Stardom Flashing Champion. Interesting card to say the least. Some people who are like kind of like, oh, this is a bad show
It's not a bad show.
online.
It's just
I think people really
weird.
romanticize some of the shows we were getting like last year because some of them were
Oh yeah,
not
that shit
good.
was rough.
Like, compare this to Flashing Champions 2023, which was the Tam Mina thing.
Mm.
Like, this show is a lot better than that one, I think, in on paper.
What
So
else was on that show?
hmm,
That was
there wasn't a lot on that show. I think it was a good
that was a
show,
bad
but there
show.
wasn't that
That
much.
wasn't that good. Because
Oh,
it was the New Era's over XL. It
oh
was
yes,
Bari Bar Bombers over Restart. Restart died on that day.
I thought that was
Um,
good. I remember liking that.
Saki over Izumi and Death.
Oh
Ending
yeah,
the Izumi run. And then a bunch of undercard matches that look
so
fine.
yeah, so I feel like comparison wise, this is probably better.
Hmm.
I think people just aren't used to the differences in tarot because I get it. Tarot stuff is different. This does feel like
It
it's
is
missing something.
slower. It feels
Yes,
like the whole year has gone slower
it does.
since he took over.
It goes at like full speed and then slows down, and then full speed and slows down because they set up like 8 things the day after the last pay per view, and then paid off all of them, and then haven't paid off anything else. And it's like, okay, what's the story? Because I think there's a lot of story heavy stuff here. Like the Tekla thing is just in a gauntlet. Putting that like Starlight Kid is just in another match. Boy is just in another match. It's kind of interesting. But anyway,
Oh, it was Micah Utami.
like
That was the main event of the Cinderella final,
oh yeah, I remember
which was
that.
great. Yeah, very good.
Yeah, that was that's that show. We now have a debut event of Marigold, the long-awaited Marigold Fields Forever. This is taking place on Monday, the 20th of May, because Marigold is a new company, so they're going to get the weird dates at Korakuen, because they do it on like an honor system, don't they? So I think All Japan
Yeah.
gets first dibs for like every date, and then New Japan is second, I want to say, and then I don't know, and imagine Noah probably is third, but anyway, the dates are going to be weird for Marigold until
What were
companies
you saying?
fold and they move up. Like Noah would be third in the line for like honor system of Korakuen, wouldn't
Oh,
it be?
yeah,
That's
probably.
like All Japan
It,
first, New Japan second, Noah third.
uh, yeah, nowadays I don't know if All Japan would be first or if it would be, but yeah, pretty much. Plus it is just kind of the situation where Korakuen's the most in demand venue in Japanese wrestling.
Yes.
So you have to them coming in so late, like they were probably booking um these shows like a few months ago, but like New Japan had their Korakuen dates for this year booked like last June.
Mhm.
So you're gonna get what you're gonna get.
Yeah. So Monday is a bit weird, but I feel like this was going to happen. Um, Outside of the Sumo Hall show, obviously, which they probably have a good date for. Um, yeah, let's just dive into this because I think there's a lot of interesting stuff happening. So the opening match, according to the lineup, is the Starting Over Passion Injection 2024. This is Nanai Takahashi versus Victoria Yuzuki. So this feels like a pretty easy chance to have Nanai set the bar for what these are going to be. She probably beats Yuzuki, but this will be all about how Yuzuki performs because she is very much the future of this company. So this match is going to be about her, even though she's probably not winning.
Yeah, so Nanai wrestled in the opening match of Birth of Nova back in the day.
Yes.
So that's kind of like the reason why this got its placement on the card is
Hmm.
that it's kind of a restart of that. Um, yeah, I'm very excited for Victoria Yuzuki to kind of show what she's cooking as a Marigold wrestler, as above what she was in Stardom, because she had such a rookie class above her in Stardom. Or not even such a rookie class above her, but she had Hanako, and she had so much room that she had to climb, and I don't know if she has as much of that in Marigold because she just feels immediately like, she'd get hot shot into anything at this moment in time, if they want her to. Do I think she beats Nanai? Probably not. She probably shouldn't because we need this passion injection to go for a while. Um, she's still Nanai's still undefeated in passion injection matches,
Yeah.
in singles matches. So I'm really excited for it. I think it'll be very fun. I was already, when the presser came and uh Yuzuki was like, "Hey, how dare you say you're gonna start winding down your career? Nah, we we having the singles match. I'm gonna inject passion back into you." I think that's a cool story, and I was super excited
Hmm.
from the jump. And in fact, it's kind of funny. I'm looking at it now. This is the second time that Nanai has began a Rossi promotion in a match against somebody named Yuzuki. Ain't that interesting? Um,
Oh, was her and Aikawa the first
it
match,
was a
or are you
tag
talking about
between
the? Oh, okay,
it was yeah, it was Nanai and Iris versus Tayo and Aikawa.
that's
Um,
crazy.
I have no idea who Iris is. Oh,
I've seen
Lucha.
Iris a lot. Yeah, she's like all over those original cards.
Yeah,
It's pretty
I haven't
crazy.
seen enough of it. Her cage match is Barrett, and that's really funny. But yeah, so I'm really excited for the match. Everybody's gonna get upset that Nanai wins, but cry.
Yeah, I mean, listen, people already hate Marigold. Let's just go all in here. Um, why did I do that? I clicked onto something. I know I
Who
shouldn't have clicked
knows?
onto it, but I did it anyway. All right. Our second match is the A versus I ideological showdown. Miku Iono versus Now Ishikawa.
A
They're doing a
versus I.
yeah,
Oh, Ano versus Okay.
yeah. Yeah, you kind of digged into this a bit when the card was announced. They did a good job of building this up between the two. I think it's a good match from Miku Iono to just beat the hell out of somebody and show everybody what she's about. And now Ishikawa gets to play the underdog, which is kind of where I imagine they'll slot in. Miku Iono is very much she kind of
Overpowered
wrestles like an
wrestler.
ace. She kind of wrestles like an
Yeah.
ace, like she's going to beat you up and she's going to dominate the match. And now is very much your prototypical idol who sells, who fires up. So I think they pair really well, and if it's something that they want to do as like a long term grudge, there's no better place to start than this.
I imagine
Um,
they either run it as a grudge or they run it as a team because they used to be a team, and it feels like this is either them fighting it out or them beginning like a true rivalry.
yeah.
Uh, I can't see it unless they really hate now Ishikawa. I can't see it being anything in between. Um, because the only way that it isn't that is if they disrespect now so much to the point where she isn't even a rival of Aono. Which is why I can see now beating Aono here, in the event that Aono gets that win back very quickly.
I think you're forgetting how Rossi books. He is
Yes.
not very subtle. We're gonna
No, not
see
at all.
we're gonna see people's minds explode because a lot of people came on after the Bushi Road purchase when he got very conservative. Um, this dude is not subtle at all. He will just do whatever the fuck he wants.
You know,
Okay.
because I see it as I presume they'll do a tournament at some point.
Yeah.
Um, Whoever wins here probably gets the loss there. And I feel like
Um,
whatever tournament that is, Alano probably is doing better than
I
Ishikawa
don't know
is.
if Ishikawa gets into a tournament. I think there's enough siders on hand as well as
There's 15
main
people, buddy.
eventers.
Like
Yeah, but
her
they're
being the
gonna.
15th of like, and Nanai's not doing a fucking tournament. Like, you know what I mean?
That's assuming they do 15. You could easily just do 8, probably.
Yeah, no, you're right.
You're gonna have like Mirai, Utami, Julia, Sari, maybe, Nozaki, Shozuki. Like that's 6 already. There's not a lot of room
Yeah,
there.
it depends, but you're also looking at it like assuming it'll be very small. And this is assuming they'll do a tournament this year. My only point is that I could see a bit of a 50-50 here just to keep Ishikawa like what's a good comparison? Um like Ida beat Micah and Sayaka Matani once upon a time in a triple
Yes.
threat match and then
Yeah.
never got one over them ever again. That's how I see this like feud possibly going with now is
So
that she gets her
aren't these
day,
two
but
very
yeah.
different experience-wise? That's the only difference here. Because isn't now a lot newer than Mika Ono?
Uh Not a lot newer.
'Cause that might affect it.
By a year or two, yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know if they would do the
Or
whole,
no,
like
3 years. I forget that I don't know debuted in fucking 2017.
yeah. So
To
I
be
think
fair,
that
she's more tenured than like everybody in the company technically.
that's true. Well, I don't know, I think that's,
That's not Nanai. Uh,
yes. And
and I
Shozuki,
think Julia
obviously.
is roughly the same. Yeah, but Shizuki hasn't had as many years.
That's true, but, Anyway, I think Aona wins pretty easily, pretty defiantly, so that's where I'm going.
I wouldn't be
Um,
surprised if that happens, but I could see Ishikawa getting upset.
Fair enough. Our third match is the power contest. It is Mirai versus Chiaki. I think this will be a showcase for Mirai as well. Um, and I think Chiaki is going to be a longer term plan. Um, so maybe she goes into a heal mode not very long after. Maybe she beats up Mirai after or something. This will probably be a showcase of like the new Mirai.
Yeah, because Mariah has been talking about that a lot, that she isn't just what we've seen of her, and she plans on doing more. So, I'm interested in what that entails.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think Shiaki as an athlete is a bit weaker. I've gone back and watched some of her matches. A bit weaker than just she is as a charismatic powerhouse.
Yeah,
Um, so we'll kind of see how she's doing here, and if that Marigold training over the past month has really
that
invigorated her. Not even month.
AJW style training we were warned about.
Oh
The
yeah, her
they all
jumping
look
into the sea to win a contest. That was the
really
funniest shit ever.
grueling, like harrowing viewing, to be honest.
That was the funny man. Actually, that is something I want to talk about briefly, and it pertains to Chiaki. Is that they've done a really great job of like advertising um, Marigold as just like this really cool roster that seems like they really just work together and they'll make the best wrestling happen. Um,
Yeah,
and they've marketed it very well, and I also think that that's just kind of like the case because when you look at like the videos of them at their um training camp and stuff like that, It just seems like there's a lot of like a cool bond between everybody and like a cool vibe that like everybody really wants to make this thing work. Having said that, I think it is super cool that Chiaki gets to be the first person to like break that, right? Because I feel like that's where she's gonna be. Is she's gonna be like the first heel of the inner group, right? Because right now we're working with Nozaki as a heel opposite my Sakurai for some reason. Even though she's in the heel because my Sakurai is teaming with the heel foreigner, it doesn't matter. And Saori's like the big threat to the Marigold roster. So when you look at the internal roster, you got to imagine Chiaki kind of ends up being the outsider,
Mhm.
uh, and maybe Nanai, but I don't know. We'll see what Nanai's doing. Um, Kind of like Hibiki was during Gaiism when there was like marvelous pride, and Hibiki's like, nah, fuck y'all. I have Hibiki pride. You understand? I could see Chiaki kind of find her lane there as like the
Yeah.
one on the outside of the roster and kind of being that heel. I don't know if it happens here against Mirai or if this is just straight up like a display between the two of them. If we kind of have those calm tides for a few weeks leading into the second Korakuen, we'll
Yeah,
see. But
I
you know,
um I don't really know because I feel like they're going straight into house show mode. I think they're gonna have
that's
to
the
set
thing.
stuff up here. Like you can't just go to Shinkiba for a double header with no plan. Um, but who knows?
Nah,
I
man, that's
feel like,
Utami versus Saori. That's that singles match.
of
That's where
course,
that's happening. Shinkiba split.
Shinkiba. But yeah, I don't
Utami
know.
would fucking would campaign for that. You know that.
Yeah, of course, she's crazy.
It's kind of funny
But
how much wrestlers love Shinkiba. I remember Doki talking about like, like this ain't nothing. I used to wrestle in Shinkiba. That's the real. That's where real shit happens. But yeah,
um, yeah,
my bad.
I mean Mariah's winning. I like Mariah, the Mariah
Yes,
Jackie
yes. I'm
pairing.
excited to see what she shows off.
Okie dokes. Our fourth match is Actress New Time. It is Natsumi Shozuki. Uh, that's her
Mm,
name, right? Yeah, Natsumi
yes.
Shozuki and Misa Matsui versus Koki and Chika Goto. Um, so I mean, this is like putting the four actress girls together. They have that familiarity, so they should be able to show out and have their best possible match.
This is also
Um,
technically the pro wrestling debuts of Koki Amare and Chika Goto.
yes, and Misa Matsui, maybe, or was
No,
she just before
Misa's been
the
wrestling.
change? All
Yeah,
right.
Misa's been wrestling a while.
Um, yeah, like this is another one-sided match somehow. Like Shozuki is gonna win. I think they're gonna respect her as a veteran. Um, but I do think this is a good pairing for all four because it will let them wrestle people that they're familiar with. I think Matsui is great, and even if the other two aren't as good, I think that the Shozuki and Matsui team can really carry it.
Yeah, so
Um,
Matsui debuted around the time Utami did.
oh wow, really? I didn't
Yeah,
realize.
she's been in it
Crazy.
for a minute.
All right. Well, she's great. So keep her around.
Yes.
I think Koki and Chica are very much X factors because they were both very. Koki especially was very inconsistent in Actress Girls. Her hype kind of faded after the start, and Chica was seen as a very much a raw prospect even within Actress. So I think there's a lot of variance there on that team, but the other team should be good enough to kind of keep it on track. Um, yeah, I think Shizuki probably wins and then puts herself into the top tier of the card.
Yeah, I think the company seems very behind Chikoto so far, just vibe wise. I
Mhm.
know that the show hasn't even started yet, but like just like small things, it feels like she's very much like Um, I mean, Julia even talked about it that like she really sees a lot in Chikagoto. Um, so we'll kind of see. I think that Chikagoto probably takes the fall here, um, because she surprisingly, despite being a member of and this tag team, great name, the Twin Towers. Despite being like this overpowering, like this very tall woman, who you would think would be a bit more of a powerhouse, she is going to find her role as an underdog for right now. Not only because she's newer, but also because I think she has a very sympathetic acting style. I guess like when it comes to her selling and everything, she's a very
Mhm.
sympathetic character. Um, so yeah, I imagine that uh, if it's anything similar to like what you were saying with one wrestler getting kind of beat down, the other wrestler trying to help, and then ultimately getting foiled. This is nowhere near the best friends versus eye contact tag, but I would say Koki's a bit more of the wrestler who will probably get the hot tag type of thing. And Goto will be the one that's really getting her ass beat and probably loses to Shozuki.
Yeah, I'm with it. I wonder if we see anything from the rookies, because they were on the training camp and they seem very much
No,
in
only
the
one of them were.
picture. Really? Was it just Komomo?
It was just Komomo, yeah.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Who
Because yeah,
who has seniority over the other trainees because
yes,
she, has
she
been
also
training
impressed
longer.
Rossi. That was
Yes, just
Rossi is
doing forward
so
rolls.
he's so like obviously it's praising him is very difficult to do online. But he is so funny because she just randomly
He's
did like a
hilarious.
forward roll and tumbled down the hill a little bit. And this man's caption was, "Her boldness is like what was it?
Fear, like awe-inducing. Like yeah, like
Yeah, no, he was like, I'm afraid. Like her boldness
yeah,
makes me afraid." And I was like, this is the funniest man in history. He saw her do a
it's
tumble
frightening. That's what he said.
on the ground.
He said it was
Frightening.
frightening.
That was it. He saw her do a tumble and unironically was like, oh my god, her boldness
I
is
mean, yeah,
frightening.
the same thing at the beach. Ross, like there was like a contest to like show off your like the coolest thing you could do in 10 seconds. And the winner, which was decided by Rossi, was Chiaki, who just launched herself into the sea. Like everybody else was like doing push-ups and like doing flips and shit, and Chiaki's like, "Nah, I'm running and I am diving." And he's like, "Yeah, that was the coolest."
He's so he's
That was
insane.
cool.
He's so cracked. He just like watches the world go by in awe. Like he's just like, damn, that's crazy,
Yeah,
man. Like what you doing?
but yeah, I don't know
Um,
if they'll show them here, because I feel like there's a lot of just like small things you have to do on a opening
yeah,
show.
I
Because like I was
guess.
thinking, oh, maybe they'll come out at the beginning, but I was like, no, the entire like roster has to come out at the beginning. Like that's how you
Yeah,
launch a company.
that's how you
Um,
debut. Show off track
so
jackets.
yeah, exactly. Like so, I'm not sure what they do with them. Maybe they wait until the Shakiba shows and they'll be like, oh, we debut next week or whatever.
Possibly.
Um,
I just don't know if you wait too long, because why else would you announce them? Because they clearly have other people training that they didn't announce, but they announced those four. So I don't know if they're
yeah.
like ready to debut, and that's why. Um, we'll have to see. The fifth match down on the card, our semi-final. It is the World Beauty Showdown. It is Mai Sakurai and Zeta Steele versus Nagisa Nozaki and Myla Grace. It's going to be an interesting one. I hyped up Myla Grace before. I think this is a weird match for her to be in. Maybe her and Zeta could kind of do the pace that I think she's capable of. Because Mai Sakurai, I don't think could wrestle the style that Myla Grace does.
What belt does she have?
Which Myla?
Yeah,
I don't
like in
know.
all of her promo pictures.
Oh, it might be the it might Titanic Wrestling Women's
Yeah,
Belt. I think.
it says Titanic, I think.
Yeah, it's the Titanic Wrestling. That's where I saw the Millie McKenzie match that I was talking about. That made me go, oh,
Mm.
she's good. Um, yeah, because I think she dropped that just before coming over. So um, yeah, I'm kind of interested in this one. I don't know. I don't think it could. Like, God, I don't know, because it could be good, but it could also not be very good. Because
This feels like
Nagisa,
it's primed to be the worst match on the card.
yes. But then again, like Nagisa Nozaki is cool. I think Mai Sakurai is going to be like really motivated to do her best. Um, I like Myla Grace. Like, I think there's potential there. Um, yeah, I don't know about Zeta Steel. I don't know how she fits. Like, even her promo before on the internet was very like
It was
TV
very
American,
yeah.
like American heel
To be
wrestler.
fair, so was like Mariah Mays.
Guess, but Mariah May is also like awesome.
A generational
um,
talent. Yeah, I
yeah,
know.
it's not that Zeta Steel is bad. I just don't know if Japan is the alley for her because it's so different to what
It's
she
kind of like
seems to
how
have trained for.
everybody wants Anna Jay in Japan for some reason, when like that's definitely not her
Yeah, like Anna Jay is an
her
American
lane.
TV wrestler. Like that is her lane. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Which is fine. That's how you're gonna get paid. Like there's nothing wrong getting paid, getting your bag. But it's not gonna work in Japan. And so I think Zeta will have to really improve a lot to kind of make her mark here. Um, yeah, I think this match is going to be all about Nagisa Nozaki anyway. I think they have big plans for her. They really like her. She wanted to wrestle Julia, but Mai Sakurai was like, no, you got to get through me to get to Julia. And I'm like, okay, so you're going to get mauled. So I think that's kind of interesting. I mean, Nagisa Nozaki probably wins, probably pins Zeta.
Mm.
Then yeah, she kind of focus on Julia eventually.
Yeah, or yeah, I can see the interesting thing about wrestling, and this is going to sound like I'm going into a long tangent, but I'm not. The interesting thing about wrestling is that it's all about like prolonging things,
Hmm.
but not prolonging it too much.
Yeah.
So like, and I compare it to One Piece a lot, right? Where it's like, okay, Luffy wants the One Piece. He leaves, goes to find the One Piece. How the fuck does that translate to, an Odyssey, 1100 episodes already, right? Well, just small things, and that's kind of how wrestling is. So it's like with Nozaki leading to that Julia match, or Julia leading to that Saori match. You just have to like put so many little things, especially with the house shows. You have to put so many little things in front of her. So I could see like Nozaki winning here, and that's why I said the now Ishikawa thing is because you need to keep prolonging things so that not like to the point where it's boring and lame, but just so that it keeps moving. Um, so I could see Nozaki winning here, and then Mai wanting a singles match at one of the house shows coming up, and then
Yeah.
Nozaki probably beats her there as well, and then Nozaki finally like gets to challenge Julia for the champion of the universe, which doesn't exist, but Julia's Julia, so people want to fight her.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, it depends on what Julia's doing with Sari as well.
yes.
'Cause I don't know, like the Sumo Hall show is in July apparently,
Hmm.
according to Fumi. I don't know if they're doing Julia Sari there, or if that's the Io Kyrie show, who are Io and Kyrie going to be involved with. So I don't know, like Nagisa could probably do some side quests
Well,
before stepping up,
I, I
or
I feel like I feel I don't know if we if yeah, did Fumi say that he thinks, or who said that WWE is going to involved for the first Ryogoku show?
I don't think anybody said the first Sumo Hall show, but I think it's like very
Oh, somebody said Summer.
obvious.
I think it might
Yeah,
have been
so somebody did say
Sean.
Summer. Yeah,
Uh, I gotta imagine that's like an Utami thing though, more than a Julia
probably.
thing.
Yeah, like
I think
Julia, or not Julia, sorry, Utami and somebody
Julia's gonna
against.
get enough of the American people. Like
That's true. So yeah,
Julia can
Julia
wrestle the
Julia
people at home
Sari Julia Sari is probably the singles match of the Sumo Hall show, maybe.
potentially.
Yeah, I don't know what
So I
Nozaki does
imagine I
then.
imagine they run like the Nozaki match at like the next Korakuen or something, or at a house
Maybe.
show. You know, like
Well, Nozaki Mai could be the Korakuen because that's on the 11th of next month. It's only 3 weeks ish.
yeah,
So I don't
that's
know.
true.
But anyway, all I know is Nozaki is winning this because I think they're gonna get really into Nozaki. She's gonna get that like that Rossi push where he's like, here's how much I'm gonna do with you when you're not signed. If you sign, I'm giving you the world, right? Like she's somebody who will either sign by December and get pushed to the moon, or she says no and he stops using her altogether. Like we've seen it so many times. Um, so I think he's gonna give her the full like, hey, the full pitch of if you sign, there's no stopping this.
Yeah, I don't know. Nozaki's an interesting one. I mean, she's on the guidebook.
Yeah, like they're fully into Nozaki. They're full on.
Yeah.
We want Nozaki.
Uh, yeah. So I'm suspecting that she's gonna be like a regular freelancer. Um, I hate that this is the first example I come to think of, but like Natsu, in like 2018, like where
Okay, I think
she's
it's a
like
bad
there,
example, but yeah.
but as in like she's there pretty much every show,
Wait,
but she's
that's but
technically a
like
freelancer.
EO literally. That was the EO pass. Like that's how he signed EO.
This is
He was
true.
like, "Hey, do you want to wrestle on
But
my shows?"
is Nozaki? Well, Nozaki's probably closer to Io than she was to
Yeah, I
Natsu.
I think
Um,
you forget Rossi is really good friends with Koda, and Koda saw Nozaki as the future of Joshi. So I think he's very much tapped into her as like hip top
oh, he
star.
was watching them JWP shows. Like, don't get me wrong, I know, and like
Yeah.
I can tell. I have a feeling that he's probably a big fan for his yes, but yeah, no, I get what you mean. I'm not saying that. Maybe the Natsu comparison was disrespectful. My bad. But yeah,
I
I'm
just think there's a
interested to
better one with
see
EO because that was
how
a
deep
star.
into it she can be. Because I mean, I imagine Sari like
He's not getting Sari. That's the only issue.
he's not getting Sari, but
And I think the headache of Sari is a lot because you have to deal with Saori is open to losing, but she also has to win. You know what I mean? And that's a bit of a headache then.
But how often is she gonna lose? Like, I think Rossi is comfortable with that. That's my
Well,
point.
she probably loses to Julia, but then what more do you do with her if you can't put anyone over her? You're not going to do Saori Utami if Utami's losing. No.
I
Maybe you
don't
do.
know.
Maybe I don't know. Maybe
I
he
think they
does. I don't know.
definitely do. Yeah.
Yeah, possibly. Well, I don't know. But I think Nozaki is somebody that they're going to give the full pitch to. Um, and I like Myla Grace. I'm going to have a lot of eyes on Myla Grace. And if she's good, I will victory lap. So that's good. Our main event then is Marigold's strongest tag team legend, Julia and Utami Hayashishita versus Sari and Bozilla. People are already coming around to me on the Bozilla train. She's hench. She brought her legend, German indie legend dad with her to Japan. They ate lots of food and they're all like, wow, she's a monster. So I think Bozilla's going to win people over. I'm still very interested in the booking in this match. I have such a strong feeling that Rossi wants to put her into the top of the card and we'll have her win.
Oh,
Um,
she will be on at the top of the card. It's a matter of if she like stays there, because like
I think
I
so.
think there will be an initial push, but I also don't think that like if she like flounders, she loses to Tommy on the Shinkiba show. You know what I mean? Like that's
I
what
don't know. I
happens.
think Rossi's very stubborn. I mean, he stuck with Megan Bain through like the 3 months where she wasn't delivering
Yeah, but he was
on a high
checked
level.
out by then. He didn't give a fuck if she was gonna work or not. She just ended
Maybe,
up working.
maybe. But let's not retcon it. Megan Bain did not click on day one,
No,
and Bozilla likely won't either.
she didn't
So
click on month one. Like it
oh,
took her a minute.
it was until the bad Suzu match that I think she like flipped the switch because I remember that
Hmm.
Suzu match and I was like, okay, send her home, it's over, and then
It
she
was
went,
quite
nah,
bad.
dog, I am a legend. um, so yeah, I don't know. I think he's gonna stick with Bozilla, and the tweets did make it seem like she's gonna be in it for the long haul. I think she has like one date in Germany that she can probably cancel in June or July. But she seems committed to Japan, so I really have a feeling she might win. Rock big woman thing because you're talking about a tournament. Rossi doing Julia Bozilla for the title is so Rossi. I am almost
Yeah,
convinced it's happening because remember Io's big title win was against Alpha
was
Female
against Alpha Female.
on Sumo Hall. Not Nanai, not Yoshiko.
I'm
Alpha
not
Female.
denying the the likelihood that Rossi wants to push Bozilla, but I am looking at it as like he probably is aware of what Bozilla might end up being, uh,
Yeah, but
both in the good
if
and in the bad.
history tells us anything, this man is stubborn and will stick with it.
I don't think he has the time to be stubborn, Alex.
He's
I
not
think he
dying.
needs to
Jesus
think
Christ.
about it. Like I think
I think he's fine if Bozilla isn't great when he has Io and Kyrie to sell sumo hall tickets. I think he's
I
fine.
also wonder if, and like this kind of goes against his entire philosophy, but I wonder if like Bozilla is like the stand-in for a Megan Bain.
Oh,
You know
that's
what
what
I
I
mean?
think this is because Megan Bain's been retweeting Marigold stuff.
That's what I
Uh,
mean, and I'm wondering if like Bozilla is the person who's gonna like
oh yeah,
hold it
I
over
think
until
so.
Megan can sort out her bullshit, or if
Mm,
she is the replacement for
I think it's
a Megan
both.
Bain, who we all know that Rossi was very high on.
I think it's both. I think if he can eventually get Bane, he'll slot Bane in ahead of Bozilla. But if he can't, he's just gonna stick with Bozilla.
Yeah, no, I could see that. Leading back
Um,
to this match, like circling around, it's a hard match for anybody to win. I'm gonna be real. I feel like Utami's primed to lose, which is very unfortunate. Um, but it feels like she's gonna have the hero's journey of her having to learn what it's like to, you know, uh, to be in a company that isn't, to be in a company where she isn't like day one, like the one. You know what I mean? Because that's kind of
yeah,
how she went into Stardom, was she was the one. And I think that that's probably an interesting story, is Utami having to build herself up as Marigold's Utami, and I could see her probably losing here. That would
oh
suck,
yeah, I think she
but
might be there to take the fall. For Julia to set stuff up. Um, I don't know. It's gonna be interesting. That's why I think this match fascinates me. Is I
I also
really
wonder,
don't know what's
take
gonna
the fall
happen.
to who?
I think Bozilla, quite frankly, but
Because yeah, like I feel like Utami losing to Saori is a bigger deal than this match. I feel like
mm,
I feel like that like Saori getting the fall over Utami has to be something a bit more important than
yeah,
this. So I feel like Utami can beat or no, I feel like Bozilla can beat Utami here, and then Utami could probably get her win back at some point.
well, either that or Bozilla beats Julia, and that's your world title main event, and Julia goes back
Yeah,
over.
I mean Julia could lose to Bozilla as well. I think Bozilla can win this, and then you could kind of run it back in a singles, so that you know
Definitely. We're also
whoever
not
loses
factoring in
here
Sari,
is it.
but I don't think Sari even needs to win because she's Sari. Like she can just
No,
stroll up and say,
yeah,
"I want to fight Julia," and it's a big match.
and I think she'll
So,
be around. I think Saori will be around enough, like not on house shows, but I imagine she'll be a Korakuen regular,
mhm.
um, to where you can run bigger things here. Uh, this card is interesting. It's not the best card,
Yeah, I saw
but it is
people
a
who were like,
fascinating card.
"I'm not into it," and I was like, I guess maybe investment is what changes it because I'm invested in this show, and maybe that changes things a
Yeah,
lot.
I mean,
But I think there's
I'm
so much
bigger on the
interesting stuff.
I'm bigger on the first few matches than the last two, but
Yeah.
mostly because they have variables that I'm unaware of. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
I'm not
I
fully
think it's all
trusting.
interesting. I think there's so much that we're gonna learn about the
Yeah.
entire structure of Marigold and how the cards are gonna go that I'm kind of into it anyway. Um, I do wonder about like angles and promos because I feel like they need to set stuff up
Mhm.
like straight away. Um, but I don't know. We'll have to see. I wonder if we see Venny because Venny and Julia are wrestling on the 23rd.
Yes.
I wonder if Venny is like, hey, screw you, you know.
I don't think she would show up on this show, but I could see Julia inviting her to the next Korakuen or something along
That's
those lines.
after the match.
Yes.
So,
After the match, Julia being like, "Hey, you want to
oh, but like the
come to the
next
next
Korakuen is
Korakuen?"
after the Venny Julia match.
I
So,
know. I'm saying after the Julia Venny match, Julia being like, "Hey,
oh,
homie,
right, right. No,
let's
I
you
was
can
think I was
come
wondering
through."
if like Venny would be on this to be like to
No,
set
no, no, no,
something
no.
up. But okay,
I don't think that. Maybe Julia
maybe.
has a promo afterwards that's like, "Oh, the Hana shows in a couple
Yeah.
days" or something like that,
So
but I
she did
doubt
do
Venny
that
makes it for
online.
this.
Actually, they did post a Twitter
Mhm.
promo where she was kind of talking about it. It was a weird one. Um, yeah. All right. Well, that's that. I'm interested. We have a very fun week next week to do Joshi wise. All eyes on Flashing Champion, and then all eyes turning to Marigold. Um,
And then all eyes turning to Shinkiba first ring. We're back, baby.
yeah, I
Let's
mean,
go.
we might end up being a Marigold show for the next few weeks, just because it's going to be interesting to see how things fall. You know,
You
compared
ain't
to
fucking with the
Stardom.
conversion.
No, I'm definitely not fucking with conversion.
The road to the conversion.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I don't know. I think Stardom, obviously, we know where the chips lie mainly, but Marigold is just such a
I
so
will
up in
say
the
one
air.
other thing about Stardom right now is that Tam's just losing, or at least she's not winning.
Yeah, I genuinely don't think Taro Okada cares. Like, I feel like if you asked him, he would be like, "Yeah, I don't. So what?" You know.
Yeah, but it is interesting because she had the Aja match that she lost.
Hmm.
She took the pin, might take the pin against Willow or go to a draw, but she'll inevitably lose whatever comes out of that, sort of angle. Um, yeah, I'm wondering what the move is with her and getting that red belt back if she's doing that.
The
Oh
GP,
fuck, she's
brother.
winning the GP. Yeah.
Yeah, obviously. So I don't know. Um, but that's that. This is an interesting week coming up. Hope
Mm.
you enjoy it. Hope you stick with us. We'll be back next week to review the Flashing Champion show and Marigold Fields Forever and all the other assorted news that I'm sure is going to happen in the world of Joshi. With that, it is time to close the show. So,
Okay, so I'm thinking. Go ahead. No, I think you were gonna say like the same thing.
yeah, we I don't know when it's dropping, but we were on a draft with Scott for
Oh,
his
that
show
you're saying
there.
something else.
So I
Yeah,
think it's
so that's
Fridays.
dropping Friday. Yeah.
Yeah, Friday.
We did a draft. We bickered like an old married couple. Um,
Yeah, Xavier
which is
keeps saying that, and I'm like, all right, cool.
it's very no, but it's very funny because like we don't bicker as much on air like on our podcast as we do everywhere else. Um,
Yeah, even in the
because we
Discord, we're
both
like snapping at each other
yeah,
all the time.
because we both have like a conscious like okay, we need to keep the show going. We can't just randomly start bickering with each other for an hour.
Yeah,
Whereas over text we could do that for fucking days at a time.
I'm right.
Or on Scott's show we don't give a fuck.
You were
But
defending Kyo
uh,
Ito to me for another hour after our podcast one time. It was crazy.
one time
Not,
that was
let's
the
not
one
start.
time
Let's
that Kyo
please
Ito was
don't,
good.
please don't, please don't.
Whatever,
We don't need to bring that back up.
it's fine. It's fine.
Okay. Anyway,
But yeah,
yeah,
I was
draft.
thinking for the closing the show, we could add in the stay golden since we did half and half. You know, you could do the believe stay. Chantabro, you just have the stay golden. You know what I mean? You should.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Sure.
I'll say the stay golden if you want. You can
Okay.
say
So I
the
don't say
Ichiban.
the rest. Okay. All right.
And
So,
then you could say Isho. Yeah. Or yeah. Okay. Let's go.
all right. Believe today, shine tomorrow. You decide what you believe in.
Stay golden. No, you
Ijo.
have to because Ijo means it's over. You know what I mean? That's the cut. So Ijo.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah. Whatever.